Bill and Wayne taught me the sewer walk, a waddle that helps you keep your balance in the slimy ground and straddle the sewer water at the same time. They say that there are 950 miles of sanitary and storm sewers that honeycomb beneath the streets of Toronto. You can never tell when the next one will come along or where it'll lead to. And yes, it's easy for even the sewer inspectors to get lost. You know how sunny and hot it was today. Well, we could see our breath down here. It was so cold and clammy. And that was just one of the unexpected things about this underground journey. Subterranean streams line the wall with what they call calcite, mineral deposits that brought an interesting look into this bleak world. They even formed in unusual ridges on the floor. The same kind of material as the long pointed stalactites that form in caves. In fact, being down here was like exploring one never-ending cave. And they sent me off with the single lantern that underground workers use to really see what this dark world was like. It was mysterious and frightening. And I finally discovered light, an intersecting sewer, and the cars were running overhead. Finally, I could straighten up. A 3.5-year veteran of working beneath the streets, Wayne, told me he was pushing papers in the personnel department at City Hall when he decided he wanted to work underground.
Do your friends ever kid you about doing this for a living? Working down in the sewers?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit.
What do you tell them?
Oh, I just usually show them my paycheck.
I'm exhausted. I'll tell you, in general, it's pretty dry and clean down there, but this sewer is for the runoff of nice clean water that comes from a rain or something like that. But you hear this sewer? That's all sewage, and I'm awfully glad I wasn't down there. I'm Brian Hill, CityPulse.
You know, you might think roads are for cars, but it seems as if roads are really for garbage, because that's what ends up here day after day. This should give you an idea of how much garbage is on our streets and highways. Over the last 4 years, in our state alone, volunteers have collected enough garbage to fill tractor-trailer units like the ones behind me over 200 times. And if those tractor-trailers were put end to end, they'd stretch from Norfolk all the way up to Williamsburg, packed with over 250,000 bags of roadside garbage.
Paper bags and cups. I think it's pretty terrible.
Beer cans with cops behind them.
Cans, papers, cigarettes.
The most popular throwaway is a fast food bag, followed up by pop cans. The most popular place for people to throw garbage from their cars are highway ramps and overpasses. And reports show that dirty baby diapers are now a major polluter. Anything is possible. Here I found a coat just off an on-ramp today. There are lots of unusual items that cleanup teams find by the side of the road. Take this, for example. I'm not talking about the paper. I'm talking about this gun. It was found by volunteers cleaning up the roadside near Waynesboro, a .357 Magnum Colt Python, and the weapon was just lying at the side of the road, loaded. Roadside garbage is not only unsightly, but the runoff from the garbage-filled ditches can actually pollute our groundwater and our rivers, lakes, and oceans. Today's Trash Off campaign urges you to join one of the 50 Adopt a Highway groups in our area. They're the people who bend over and help pick up the mess. Brian Hill, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The year was 1938. Roy Plunkett was trying to invent a new refrigerant. His experiment failed. But they wondered what to do with the waxy white powder that spilled out on the table. It took years for the experts to even figure out its chemical properties.
Even burned food won't stick to Teflon, even if it's baked on for hours.
Now, after 50 million coated pots and pans, we tend to forget it used to be the only way to get rid of food was to take a plate of steel and scrape it. This hot dog shop isn't alone in still using the traditional approach. Non-stick cookware in some circles has sunk to having the same stigma as polyester clothing. Most fine restaurants won't touch Teflon.
Do you want me to show you what it looks like after it's been burnt and scrubbed?
Yeah, sure.
That's what happened to a Teflon pan. The coating's gone and it's all melted.
At DuPont Labs, they are still looking for new uses for Teflon. Imagine if you could put it on windows so the dirt wouldn't stick. How about tires? The police chalk marks would just slide off.
About a doormat for door-to-door salesmen.
Do they just...
They can just slide right out of your property.
Roy Plunkett is probably most proud of Teflon's use on the Statue of Liberty. It covers the connectors that hold the skin onto the frame. So let's hear it for good old polytetrafluoroethylene. Happy birthday, Teflon. Brian Hill, News 3. Leaving sunny Miami, the home of the hurricane hunters, there was no hint of what was ahead. The navigator plotted a collision course with Gloria. We flew east over the Bahama Islands. Then it was a left turn that headed us northwest, right for the storm.
We're about 45.5 north, 78.6 west.
Some of the crew has flown over 200 hurricane missions. For others like scientist Steve Evanson, this is their first storm.
Well, my relatives are apprehensive. My friends, some are envious. Some would just as soon never go up in a flight into a hurricane.
About 90 minutes out of Miami, we found out why.
It's been pretty smooth sailing up to now, but I just got word from the pilot. We're making the turn to go into the eye of the hurricane. I can see it on radar, and you can see Gloria outside this window.
We didn't need the plane's radar to tell us we were in the grasp of Gloria. The hurricane winds beat on the window. There were times we could even barely see the wingtips. As we bounced through the storm, we were lashed in, every machine bolted down, and some of the computers on board had to be mounted on springs to cushion the shock. There can be jolts that are life-threatening. Listen to the crew's stories about just the night before. It all started with a light show, St. Elmo's fire, static electricity glowing on the nose cone.
We started getting a great deal of St. Elmo's fire on the windshield.
Saw one heck of a flash, and I was blinded momentarily.
Perforated one of the radomes in the airplane and broke off the one of the high-frequency long-wire radio antennas. You could see the antenna flapping around outside the window. I was worried the window was going to break, and images of the old James Bond movies came back, so we all had our seatbelts fastened.
What did you see? What did I say? I can't say that on TV.
No matter what they had to say about it, the crew was right back in the air 16 hours later.
I'd rather do this than drive down South Dixie Highway in Miami at rush hour.
So you've met the hurricane hunters. Tomorrow night, we'll meet the hurricane as we penetrate the wall of Hurricane Gloria. This is Brian Hill, out over the Atlantic just west of the Bahamas for TV2 Eyewitness News.